Hi, Dominic. How are you today?
Not too bad. That felt weird. Is this real life?
Yeah, we're rolling. That's how it's starting.
Yeah, well, I'm Dom, and that's as much as I feel comfortable saying.
Yeah, so I'm Rick, Sick Rick, the kid with the hot bars, and we had to pass off the hello people to a voice professional today. We got JP back in the room with us. How you doing today, champ?
Good, man. Good.
So I have a random ass question for you because that's what we've been doing while you've been away.
All right.
What is a favorite childhood snack of yours that isn't around anymore?
Oh, that isn't around anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, man, you threw me off on that.
Right, so not Chips Ahoy cookies.
They're still around because I just saw them at the little candy store, but it's like the first time I've seen them in forever.
That doesn't count if they're still around.
The little wax bottles that have like that little bit of liquid in them.
I think those have
remember
been
those.
around since my grandparents, bro.
Yeah, but-
you like those?
Oh, I love them.
I didn't expect that.
I like
Love
those.
them. Yeah, dude, I used to eat the whole thing.
I was just gonna say, did you eat the wax?
I definitely
I
ate
did.
the wax.
I ate the wax too.
I think that's really gross,
Wax
but I'm going
guys.
to allow you guys to have your little bro down over there.
That explains
So
a
you're
lot,
saying
though.
they're still around? Because like that's the first time I've seen them in forever.
I don't think they'll ever go away. They'll outlive us.
You know why? Because they're good.
No. Maybe they're just financially a win.
It's all that matters.
Yeah.
To the right of him, he already said hello.
Hello. I got a great answer for this.
Dominic?
Yes. So actually, I've been on a kick, and I found these randomly. I don't know if you guys remember. It's a Lunchable. They were called Pizza Dunks.
No.
So Pizza Dunks was, imagine the piece of pizza. That
Oh,
little,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it was like a stick. And then it
Oh.
was like a cheese dip and a pizza dip, and I don't know why, but they they discontinued it. It does
That
sound
sounds
gross.
terrible.
It does. It probably is today.
Yeah,
but
they were-
on TikTok, I found someone that found the ingredients and knows exactly how to make them, and now I can make my own pizza dunks.
Are you going to do
Wow.
this?
Absolutely.
How
It
do
just
you
sounds like a breadstick.
Do you think that they're going to measure up?
I think it's gonna be terrible.
I do too. I
Yeah.
have a feeling it'll be bad.
Yeah.
I preferred those over the other Lunchables.
No.
Yeah. Hey guys, if you remember Pizza Dunks, leave a like and a comment down below.
Yeah.
Quick question. Do you put your pizza Lunchables in the microwave?
No.
I did and didn't, both good.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's all that matters.
To my left, Steve. Good afternoon.
Howdy.
Good evening and good night. How about the snack question over to you?
Probably Hack Edgerman's Newports
Oh,
and Turner's
all right.
Tea.
we get it. We get it. Hack Edgerman. What snacks did you eat?
So it is a very, very obscure candy that I think only existed in the 90s. It was essentially like fruit roll-up, like it was like that texture, but it was called string thing.
Okay.
And it came on a wax-coated cardboard, like a card back, and the candy itself was in like the shape of like a rocket ship, and you would peel it off. Like it was way too much work.
Yeah.
For
right.
the like little bit of candy you got, but just something about the texture of string thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I
see it.
undersold how much there was.
Yeah. Right.
Just the
I remember that.
the combination of the waxy cardboard and like it was a little bit thicker than a fruit roll-up, but not too thick that it just like specifically was that, and like they haven't brought them back. I would have said Oreo-O's, but I successfully brought those back.
You did that all by yourself. I'll give you
Oh my
all
God,
the credit
yeah.
to that to the
I
end
remember
time.
that.
I remember when the knockoffs first showed up at Walmart, and I was like, "Uh-oh, what's
Yeah.
this about?" And then the real thing
Yeah.
came back around, like the whole time with you in mind, right? You were on that train, just like I'm pretty sure Martell brought back Surge all by
Yes.
himself too.
Yep.
So,
Surge.
couple of people bringing back 90s stuff. Mine, one of them, I don't know if it is around. Maybe it just came back. I used to love 3D Doritos.
Oh yeah.
It might have been
Remember those.
something that just made a comeback. I remember seeing a commercial, but they were like really airy little Dorito puffs. They were delicious. They were so fucking good.
They're like triangle shaped, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like pyramid shaped.
Yep. So good. And another one, strangely enough, was candy cigarettes. I love them.
They
Dude.
still have them.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere.
No,
Candy
there's
store.
no way. They
Dude,
still
South
have
Hills
them?
Village, man. I
How
was just
did
there
candy
today.
cigarettes not get canceled?
I was just there
Yeah,
today.
they still make them. Just the little white
now-
sticks.
Yeah, I think now they're just bringing it as like candy sticks.
Candy
There is
sticks,
okay.
a candy store in the mall, and you will find that candy. It doesn't matter what one you're looking for; you'll find it.
I think they're the same reason that like the reason they're still around is because the way we feel about them, like when we think back as kids, is probably how kids feel about them right now.
Right.
Like they still probably like go, yeah, look at me.
Yeah, yeah. Like
I did.
Just talking about it makes you have feelings of whenever you were younger and you thought you were cool and maybe a little nostalgia stuff, and that's what we're here to talk about, right?
Yeah.
So,
Indeed. Good segue.
thank you. So we are here to talk backyard wrestling like always, and like we will be for at least another, we figured about 10 or so episodes after this. So we're maybe halfway through, but we're rolling down the tracks. And one of the reasons why we're halfway through is because we have reached the end of the longest year in any of our lives, 2009.
It ain't 2009 no more.
It ain't. I know what's behind that door. No, I really do, because I edit this show, so I
That's
know
true.
exactly what we're going to watch today. At the end of the year, we all went our separate ways for the last shows of the season. We did up to Ground Zero 20 and Backyard Supremacy 3 on our last podcast. Champ, got any memories about Backyard Supremacy 3 at all? We talked a little bit. You wrestled Brandon.
Yeah, no,
No?
I don't remember. I'll
DC Doom also.
have to watch. I vaguely remember wrestling DC Doom. Yeah.
You guys did like a suplex off the base type, like half on the base, half off the
Yeah.
base, and then you did like a running 180 shooting star off the base too. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Your match with Brandon was cool too, though. He finished you off with the Trapper Keeper off the base.
I always lose, man.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Steve will tell us about that a little later in the episode. But Backyard Supremacy 3, another building block on us on our way towards the future. And then we were like, we had enough of each other. Let's roll the hell out of here. And everybody's going to go their own way for the last 2 weeks of December. So,
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because, like, how did this happen? It wasn't like a malicious thing.
I literally have no idea.
Just like everyone, like, just doing their own thing just by happenstance, or it's like, hey, I'm doing this,
So-
and then...
Where we're
Yeah.
going to start today is the only story that I specifically remember because it's the one I was involved in. I had my opportunity to run 2 super shows this year. You were given an opportunity to do one. And then Ed, at the end of the year, just decides, I want to do one in Pittsburgh, and I'm going to call it Santa's a Fat Bitch. And I want all my friends to come, or else you're mean to me and you don't love me. And it didn't work. Like, it was just that. November was already hard to pull off. You're going a month later trying to get these same dudes to come back again. Ohio already saved our ass once.
Yeah.
And literally nobody showed up to the point where you guys didn't even show up. And I don't know where you were at the time. I'm pretty sure you were in town. I just don't know. It was me and Hack Edgeman and Scott Brumley and Kevin Genocide.
The Brothers Brumley.
Rolled their way up from Mount Morris for Santa's a Fat Bitch.
Oh man.
Now, did Ed edit this as well?
Ed did not edit this. No, I
would
did.
have added the...
But we went outside this morning. It was freezing cold. And the Brumley brothers, like I said, were making a drive, an hour long or more drive, depending on the situation. The roads were icy. Everything sucked. Everything was cold. But they still were like, we're coming. So... Yeah. The base is rock hard right now. If you look, there's no give to it. All the carpets are stuck to each other.
Yeah. Oh, looks like they tagged him right in the eyebrow.
Yeah, actually, Ed and Kevin were being very stiff with each other to counteract the base, I guess. Meanwhile, Scott and I were like, how do we get through this without bumping? Because it sucked.
Right. I love the fact that everybody is in, except you, sweatpants and hoodies, but you still got your shorts on.
Yeah, I rolled with it. And it's crazy about that now is like back then I was never cold, and now I'm always cold all the time.
Have you lost weight since then?
I lost weight in between and then gained most of it back.
Oh.
So yeah, Ed and Kevin were pretty good this day. I just can't believe that they ended up showing up. Like
Right.
I think I would have bailed, but they liked us. They just wanted to come hang out and wrestle and whatever, you know.
I want to say this probably took place on a Sunday because I remember I was at a semi-formal dance the night before.
Okay.
And I could imagine that was probably on a Saturday, and then staying up late, and then I woke up at like 10 o'clock or whatever. Like, it's too cold. I'm not wrestling.
And we actually we kind of doubled back here because this happened before Ground Zero 20.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, that was the hardest part of the base. Genocide misses a moonsault.
Who is that standing in the crowd?
I don't think there was a crowd, was there?
Yeah, man, there was somebody in a yellow bandana.
Yellow bandana in the crowd. I don't remember. I have no recollection.
I think it was that one friend of Ed's that I always said was a good-looking kid, and that's all I ever said. I'm like, you're a good-looking kid. Like, he had like a surfer look. I'm like, I don't know your name, but you come around every now and then. You should see.
There he is.
Is that him?
That looks like
No, it's a girl.
That's a
Yeah,
girl.
looks like
Female.
a girl.
you know
okay.
what? That was probably Kevin's girlfriend at the time.
Probably why I thought the guy
Yep.
looked so good.
That makes sense. It's a handsome lady.
Flap the wings, hit the big splash.
Why is it blue? To indicate how cold it is?
Absolutely, yes.
Makes sense.
It's all about psychological mind games.
Yeah, jeez.
Finish it with everything but a bump.
How was working with Scott?
It was a lot of fun. It was very easy, and I would do it right now.
How were his strikes? Because I've noticed.
Very soft.
Really? Because it looks like they're not all the ones that I've seen. Not one has been placed properly.
No, it didn't matter that it wasn't placed properly because it didn't feel like it
That's
touched you.
good.
Yeah.
Well, when you have the hair like flying and it's so easy to fake it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
That's why.
That's why I
like,
did it.
I pretty much whenever I learned how to strike for wrestling, I modeled it off how the Undertaker did it because I would always see him punching like Kane with the hair, and you
Yeah.
realize that like he's really just like it. Well, I don't know if he know what the hell he does, but I would leave like a fist, but like kind of like boxed, and just let it make the contact, but it would like collapse on itself.
Yep,
You know what I
right.
mean? And then you could hit people, and like if they get mad at you, it's like, well, you did sign up for this, so,
Right.
You know.
There's like I think Matt Nix was taught to do it this way, and I haven't seen it by a whole lot of other people. But whenever you like throw a punch, you like smack your chest, so it kind of makes
Yeah.
the sound. And I haven't seen it all over the place, but I remember Nick showing me, and I still like I'll just walk around at my work, just just crack people.
Justin taught me that a while back, and like I would use it in pro. But the thing is, the more you're striking somebody, the redder.
Yeah.
Right. So then it would get to the point where you're backstage, you're just going before you go out there, so you just look red already, no matter what.
This
Hell
may
yeah.
seem like such common knowledge to like most wrestling fans, but to people who like, wouldn't know what we're talking about, like that when you see someone get kicked in the face in wrestling and it just sounds really loud, it's because someone smacked their leg. And still, we know this, but I still will freak out the same way. Yeah.
Especially if it's a strike that I'm unfamiliar with and I'm not paying attention for the leg smack and they hit it. Like I remember this dude from the UK, Sam Jude, came over to wrestle Mike Damage, and he was throwing like these inside elbows at him, and he was doing a whole ass leg smack when he hit it. But because I hadn't ever really seen that strike before, he hit it, and I was like, oh my God,
He's killing me.
Yeah, right.
I think leg smacking. Now we're on a tangent.
So what?
Spanking, you mean?
Yeah, has a bad rep, but also it's gotten really carried away. Like the first person I ever saw notice do it was Test with his big boot. So like that was like in 2001. So it's like it's always been a thing. But then it got to the point where there were people that were slapping their leg when they hit the ropes. Yeah. Like, what's the point of that? And then like I was like taught like throwing forearms with someone. Like if someone's like hitting you with a forearm, you like reach like to them and you smack their sides as they make contact with you. But since the cell is like,
No, thank you.
that is so dumb.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
thank you.
So I only smack on my enziguri. I make it count.
Yeah. Okay. Word.
Yeah.
No, I feel that. That's very smart. So that was Santa's a Fat Bitch. That named after an ICP song. That's not us hating on Santa. But if you look for it on YouTube, it says Santa's a Fat Boy because swear words don't often search very well on YouTube, and I wanted to make sure people could find it.
Now, do you remember what you did after, like, as soon as the show was over? Did
We
they
all went
take
our
off?
separate ways. It was
Yeah.
so cold.
Yeah.
I don't know why we did it. But we did it just so that we did it just so we had something to talk about today while you guys went about your situation.
True. The love of wrestling. You guys didn't even want to hang out. You just
Right.
wanted to
Right.
wrestle.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, but I mean, like, what really could we do? Let's go to Permanis,
Yeah,
Like,
and like they're from Mount Morris. They've had
it's not a big deal.
So that was Santa's a Fat Bitch, like I said, and I believe the week following that is it's going to be a show called It's Beast Knowing Because of Catonic that took place in Indiana, ICW. And I remember one of the reasons that people didn't come to this show was because pretty much everybody that we cared about was going to Indiana to wrestle at this show the next week, including Brandon, who didn't get a chance to wrestle in Indiana at all yet. They had two super shows earlier in the year. Brandon didn't go to either of them, so it's like now I can go down there and do that stuff. And Ed was like, I went back on the way back machine a little bit to read some of the stuff that was going on through some of these things on the GBYWN forum and see what people were saying or thinking or talking about. And Ed was just like, Brandon, you're such a bitch. You promised you'd come out here to my show if I held one. And he's like, dude, I just want to go to Indiana. I'll hit you on the next one. They're not going to be a next one, dude. Rick and Steve aren't going to let me host another show because this one flopped. It was
like,
really,
I have any power. Like, why would I not let him?
right. But yeah,
The reason why it was called that was because apparently, I don't know who Caleb worked with on this show, but it was a big factor was like he really wanted to work with whomever it was, and they kind of like did a show, and he was like, in his like really like his biggest fan on this trip because he kept like saying like, you know, this show's actually happening because of me. Like, you know, like if it wasn't for me wanting to do this show wouldn't be happening. Now look at this. This person's coming. And then it got to the point where like, okay, yes, we know the show is because of you. It's because of you, Caleb. And then it just happened to also snow as well. And somebody pointed out that, well, also snow's here too. It's the first time he's here. But it's also snowing, so it's be snowing because of Catonic. You know,
Right.
It's just like a big rib.
yep. And terrible show name. Show itself was probably all right. Definitely not as good as Santa's a fat bitch. It's be snowing because of Catonic.
What does catonic mean?
I think he said that he thought that he wanted to be catatonic,
Okay.
but spelled it wrong or something
So,
like that.
I hope
Steve,
that's
who was
true.
your opponent we saw there?
I got to work with Jason Fierce.
and you wore an elf costume.
Yeah, I was also surprised for the show. Why, I don't know. I think it may have been a last-minute thing, and we found out Chicago was going, and I had never met Jason Fierce, never. I mean, obviously, I wanted to wrestle him at that point. We were buddies. That was really
cool.
good, because that post, see, that's how that was the reveal, and you probably saw that and thought it was the other one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I was like, well, I really want to wrestle Jason Fierce, and then I love Christmas, and it's no secret that I do. I have Christmas gear to this day in pro, so I wanted. I don't know how I ended up with that
Arm drag.
outfit, but I came up with like, well, why would my character be wearing this? So we did a promo. You know, I was revealed as whatever, and I think Snow came out in my clothes as a diversion because I think Snow may have been a surprise. So he came out dressed up like me, and they thought it was me. Then he took his,
Devin
hoodie
versus Brandon happened on this show, too.
Yeah.
This looks like a great show.
It was pretty fun. It was very, very, very cold, obviously.
Yeah.
And then it was like, well, wait a second. Why is he wearing Steve's clothes? And that's when I jumped off the roof. And then after, like, the second match, like, I did, like, a little thing like, where's my gear? And then, like, kind of called the show to a halt. Like, someone stole my gear. And then Jason came out with my tights. Just kind of like, what the heck? And I was like, well, you have something for me to wear? He goes, yeah, I got something for you to wear. And I sold it like I was mad that I was wearing it.
Right.
Good
But-
thing his head missed the chair.
Yeah, I know.
That would have sucked.
It looks more like it'd be raining because of be snow.
It was off and on.
Yeah.
And one of the things that sucks about my...
Oh, shit.
Yeah. One of the things that sucks about my attire is I'm not wearing shoes.
Oh.
Like, those are, like, socks.
Is this
And-
ever a 2-day period?
No.
Nope. This is all one...
There's drastically different amounts of snow.
Devin had Bell's palsy during
Yeah,
this,
Devin
too.
had Bell's palsy. There's Steve.
Yeah. This is an interesting thing to add to the music video.
I mean, no, look at that. It's the gun show of be snow,
Dang.
man. You may or may not see that clip in an upcoming music video that I'm working on that nobody knows about until I'm teasing it right here, right now.
I always thought that face he was
Look,
making
no
was on
snow.
purpose.
No, he had
No
Bell's
snow.
palsy. Yeah, I get what you're saying, JP. It does look like
No
it's-
snow. Bunch of snow.
I remember I was like freezing cold because those are socks that I have on,
Yeah, wild.
and that was really cool. My my feet were soaking wet the entire time, and that just like chilled my whole body. This
I'm
was
sure.
kind of sloppy, but that was the finish.
A lot of things on this show seem to be just because of the everything
conditions.
wet and snowy. Yeah.
This looks like a good old backyard show. In
Yeah,
this.
it was fun.
Absolutely.
It was fun. It was literally like it didn't have the Super Show vibes. And then he I remember like he was like debating on laying down and selling it, but like we had like pointed out that there was a big puddle there. It's like, "Oh no, that's the puddle. Don't bump there." And then it was like, "Oh, he doesn't want to sell it cuz it's a puddle." And then he laid down and then we all like reacted. It was
So that was Brandon and Devin finally getting to work
Yes.
together after a while. It's funny that we said that the show's because of Katonic, and we just watched it, and I already don't remember who he wrestled.
No idea who Katonic wrestled.
Like,
Was he in that video?
Did he wrestle?
Probably. I mean, yeah, he was there.
I saw a lot of stuff. I don't even remember seeing him. So that's terrible of us.
There were
'cause we
ladders.
literally just watched it.
I remember ladders.
There
but
were
I
ladders.
don't remember Katana.
It wasn't Rockin'. Stacy worked with
Right.
Rockin'.
Right.
Huh.
But yeah, so Beast Knowing because of Katonic in Indiana. How did you get there? You drove?
Actually, Caleb and Troy came and picked me up.
Oh,
and
shit.
I don't know if then we grabbed Snow, so I probably still owe them money from that trip, probably from gas. Now that I think about it. But I want to say like Snow came with us, but here like I figured, oh shit, I need a ride, and then I was like, well, wait a second, Ohio drove all the way to New Jersey to get FX's money.
Absolutely.
Pittsburgh isn't that far out of the way,
Right.
And I was super thankful that they did that.
Was it straight? So they drove here, picked you up, and then everybody drove to Indiana?
Yeah, we may have picked up Snow on the way back. He may have been working. I think he was working. And then, like, it was literally just a one-day show. It was really cool getting to finally meet Stevie, well, Jason Fierce. I remember I got my foot run over by a car that day just because someone was there, and I just put my foot. I'm like, I'll let the intrusive thoughts win this round.
Wait, so you intentionally got your foot run over by a car?
Yeah, it
Great.
was someone was like in the car that we knew and was driving away slowly, and I was just like, let's see what this is like.
Foot still numb from wrestling in the snow. Might as well.
Pretty
let
much,
that-
yeah, probably. Honestly,
Did it hurt at all?
it did hurt surprisingly more than you would expect.
I
but,
expect a car running over your foot to hurt a lot.
but not enough for me not to do it again.
Yeah. I think
I definitely did it again.
as long as they continue to move,
Yeah.
you will. It's gonna hurt, but I'm assuming.
Probably not
Yeah.
break.
I
Yeah.
mean, you figure the tires are full of air anyway, right? So if anything, they should
Yeah.
be light.
I say this is something we try.
Yeah, we need to do
and
this
film it
afterwards.
and maybe bring to the podcast.
I think it's good.
I'm down with it.
Yeah, we can all get our
Golden
foot-
Triangle Media, foot getting run over by
Yeah.
a car coming soon.
Only
You
if
in?
we get so many likes and comments. I think they need to pull their weight in our subscriber
Yeah.
list.
I like this actually. We haven't ever done a like goal.
How about comments though? 100 comments and we'll.
That's a lot.
That
that's,
is.
That's expecting too much out of the YouTube.
I mean, do
community.
you want me to have my foot run over by a car or not? Leave a comment, you pieces of shit.
What if
Sorry.
every
We could just start talking to each other in there and get to 100 real easy.
Honestly.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
but
right.
I don't want anyone to do that. But what if like say like the first like 100 gets like my foot run over, and then like 150 gets like Dom's foot run over, and it keeps going,
yeah.
going.
If you guys interact with our shit, we will get our feet run over by cars. That is a promise.
It's gonna be really anticlimactic.
Once you see it the second time, the third and fourth time isn't going to be that impressive.
I mean, it depends how you feel about who's getting their foot run over, right?
it's true.
Maybe we'll like go into like the arm, or maybe like.
Oh yeah, I've never done that.
Yeah, we can really.
I will not allow my arm to get run over.
All right.
And that was Beast Knowing because of Katonic. That was a Christmas show, just like Santa's a fat bitch. But the real backyard Christmas show happens every year for 4 or 5 years in Florida. Only one of us in the room right now. We're cool enough to head on down to there.
Yeah, how did that happen?
Not a clue, man. I was just good friends with Ryan, so I was always in contact with him, and I probably just said, "Yo, we're coming down."
When did you meet Ryan? Would it have been WrestleFest 9?
Probably.
Yeah, it would have had to be.
Probably. And I know just a lot of internet, a lot of forums and internet talk.
Because I remember
It was you and Josh, right?
Yeah.
And you guys flew?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I think I contacted Josh and was like, "Hey, let's fly down to Florida," and he was like, "Yeah, I'm down." And I think he was one of the only ones that was available, so we just went down.
I was
together.
so jealous that you guys did that.
Yeah.
Because, like,
Awesome.
one, I mean, obviously it's Florida, right? But
Uh-huh.
I had never wrestled in Florida, and I had only been down there once before, and I wasn't wrestling. Like, man, they get to fucking wrestle in Florida before me. God damn
it
it.
was
I
a
hate
blast. It was worth it.
And
It was-
Florida was one of the last remnants of the link because just the year before they had Backyard Christmas 3, which Ed and I lost our fucking minds over when we saw it. We're like, holy shit, they're still doing stuff. Backyard Christmas 3 was like, if I have to remember some matches, it's like Arkham versus Virus. Lee Andrew was there.
yeah.
There was like a Flambeau Hitler tag team against Ryan and Josh Cage or something
Okay,
like that.
I was at BYX2 then.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So yeah, crazy show BYX3 was. Lee made some great stuff, so I was super jealous, but a broke boy nonetheless
Yeah,
in
same.
2009. And of course, the champs ball when you're out there winning races every Saturday, collecting cups, getting cash, you know?
Yeah, it also helps that my mom traveled for work and got free plane tickets.
Certainly does help. Certainly helps. And so you and AJ Todd, the two most unlikely members of SWC
I know, how weird is that?
to go to a super show together by themselves.
Yeah.
But the two best to represent.
No doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
For the setting, no doubt about it. So we'll take a look at what you did while you were there. Do you remember any of your matches? I hope so, because we just talked about them.
Yeah, man, I remember a couple. It was a good time. We had a lot of fun.
How long were you down there?
I want to say it was a long weekend, like a Friday to Monday kind of thing.
Cool.
What part of Florida is this?
This particularly, I'm not 100% sure. I know we flew in to Tampa and Ryan picked us up, and we stayed at his mom's house, actually. And then we drove to this is Tiny's house, which I believe is like an hour away. I have no idea where
I'm going to
in
assume
Florida.
Clearwater because that's where majority of
That's where Ryan lived.
Yeah.
But
it
this
was
was
further?
like, yeah, this was a little more inland, I believe.
Well, so that was a similar thing that happened when we went to Florida later. We ended up staying at Ryan's place, and we rode like an hour away to Chris Seagrass' house.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very similar. Funny enough, we're finally getting to this. When we tested Backyardi'Yinz, we watched this match and we sat here and talked about it and did some fun little stuff. I remember talking about how Clayton Cross is kind of like Florida's version of JP. Like if you want someone that's easy to carry and someone that you could bump around a little bit, Clayton was your dude, right?
Yeah, this was honestly, it was one of my favorite matches. Like especially in a music video form, it was just fun. It was fun. We just had a good time and we clicked pretty well. So everything went smooth and the people there enjoyed it. I'm not
always the most important part.
Yeah, and I'm not a big I don't travel to wrestle very often. You know what I mean? And I didn't know any of these guys, so just getting in the ring and wrestling in general I was happy with myself for doing that. So yeah, it turned out really good. It made me feel pretty comfortable and basically formed some friendships.
Yeah. And like it looks like you're working. You
Yeah.
know, like you put
I
your
agree.
working boots on for this.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
It was one of those things too. Like I said, I don't really travel, so these are all strangers to me. I'm like, yeah, I gotta at least try.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I'm not. I am going just to have fun, but I also want people to
rep-
think I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, you did a great job representing yourself and Pittsburgh, dude.
That's crazy. That is a very underappreciated.
Was this the first time you ever worked in a ring?
It's very possible. Yeah.
I would think it had to be because
Yeah.
you weren't at WrestleFest 9.
Oh
You
yeah,
did-
then he couldn't have known Ryan from WrestleFest 9.
I
right?
went
he
to
was there,
WrestleFest
he
9,
didn't
but I didn't
wrestle.
wrestle.
Yeah. I think you're at WrestleFest 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was. I actually got kicked in the face there
Oh man.
watching the match.
For who?
The guy, I forget who it was. He went up and he kicked the bottom rope, and I was leaning, and the rope smacked me in the face.
That's
And I was
terrible.
That's probably why he did that.
Another spiral tap.
Yeah, 540s.
Big stunner cell.
Were you anxious at all?
Boom, best in the business, better than
because
Beast
of
Now.
the fact that you like kind of had expectation of yourself to live up to.
I wouldn't say I was anxious. I was almost the opposite. Like I had nothing to lose.
You were
know what
excited. You were ready to go up there
Yeah,
and
I
do
was
the
just
thing.
going to have a good time.
Dude, you had such a great second half of 2009. Like all the shit that you were doing and all the stupid bumps you were taking, you very underappreciated as far as like the people that came out of SWC. Like it was most of the time it was me, Steve, and Ed that people said they wanted to wrestle, and then like occasionally someone would be like, I want to wrestle JP, and it's like you were deserving of much more than a fourth place finish, no doubt.
And I feel like a lot of people were saying that because they liked you as a person.
Yeah,
You
right,
know,
right,
it's-
yeah. Even bypassing the wrestling stuff.
I had no idea this match happened.
So yeah, here we got JP teaming up with Clayton Cross to go up against Soy Boy and MX5. What the fuck? Like,
Love that.
Yeah, dude. Trey's he's just one of the coolest guys to work with in general. Soy Boy, just a good dude.
Soy Boy's a throwback Link guy. I don't know how you weren't really into the Link stuff too much. Soy Boy had some classic matches dating back to like forever.
Well, the thing was like this match in particular, if I remember correctly, it was kind of like you were saying, like we didn't really have it. It wasn't planned. We were all just like, we're all cool guys. Let's wrestle each other. Like,
Hell yeah.
It was kind of just a on the fly kind of thing.
Yeah, I
so-
can tell no one has gear on.
Right. It was just like
I mean,
why
Soy
not?
never did.
Oh yeah, but I mean, like even this is less gear than he normally wore.
Uh,
But I mean, Josh doesn't.
Right.
Trey
Yeah.
doesn't.
It was.
Clayton
It
doesn't.
was definitely on the fly.
here we got JP versus Tiny.
Had no idea this match happened.
Honestly,
either.
I forgot that this happened until me and Rick talked about it, and it was a blast.
Yeah.
And like it was actually cool rewatching because like I forgot that it happened.
Yes.
So that's gonna fuck up with my win-loss record.
Oh, that's okay. Well, let's just figure it out right now, right?
Well, who won that last one? Who won the last tag match?
That was awesome.
I don't know.
Yeah, I missed it.
I actually don't know either, to be honest.
Because
It was an unsanctioned match
okay,
because it was JP's second booking of the day. That was the dark match.
Yeah,
It was
dude,
literally.
Tiny.
Dude,
for,
Tiny's so good.
Oh my god, for the size that he is, he's just a great wrestler.
Jeez.
The things that he does, man, and he does them flawlessly.
Yep.
Like he made wrestling him so easy.
Is he the first person that let you?
I believe
that?
so. Yeah.
I was just, I never
believe it
seen you
is.
hit it.
That's all three.
You got to win.
So yeah,
At least one more.
Actually,
Add one win
if I
to the
remember
JP
correctly,
column.
when we sorry to
No, you're
drag on,
good.
but when we were planning that match, he was like, "You want to finish it with the spinal tap or spiral tap?" I'm like, I don't think I've ever hit that. And he's like, "Dude, you're gonna do it." I'm like, "Are you sure?"
here's I think one of Josh's most proud matches. It's definitely fucking up there. Last I talked to him, he still loved it. Josh looked like $1 million fucking in this match, and it was great to see. They came back, and Josh was like, "Yeah, I wrestled Ryan," and I'm like, "Ryan, which one?" And he's like, "Stormwa," and I'm like, "Oh." Can I get that? So he hits him up for the full, gets it sent to me. I make the music video for the boys because holy shit, Josh went in.
So JP, you said you went down because you were friends with Ryan, but Josh ended up working with him in a singles.
Yeah, that might be why Josh went down. I'm not 100% sure.
Specifically for
But like I said, I wasn't really going for the wrestling.
right.
So I had no particular interest in wrestling anybody in general. So Josh, on the other hand, is a wrestler. So he probably they were probably talking before we went down for sure.
Probably want to get some reps in.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
surprised because I would have expected you to work with Ryan. Just like I just said, people wanted to work with you because they were your friend.
I would imagine. I mean, somebody with Josh's wrestling experience and wanting to wrestle, he probably would want to make the trip
makes
worth
sense.
it.
Yeah.
To me, it didn't matter. So I really enjoyed what I got. And
Yeah, especially
had a good
when you
time
look
with
at
it.
your bookings too.
Yeah, I had a great time. And
This
Ryan,
match, you were in the crowd. Did you love it? Was it awesome?
Oh, it was, dude. Honestly, Josh out. We know how Josh is. We see Josh every week, but watching Ryan work for the first time, pretty much in person, he's a great worker.
Different level.
Yeah,
Super clean. Everything
It's one
looks
of
like
those
it's real.
things where you don't even really realize why. You just are amazed when you watch it.
Yeah, this match in particular looks the most like a wrestling match out of everything on the video. Like everything else was like
Spot fest.
a backyard wrestling,
Yeah.
hardcore. Like this just looks like two guys with body language of wrestlers.
Definitely have the charisma and the flow of knowing what they're doing.
And it's funny because Ryan's character really is just Ryan.
Yeah.
So like he
Chill stoner dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just a cool guy. He's just down to earth, and it plays so well in his wrestling. He was a great host too, by the way.
Yeah, this seems like a good atmosphere.
And you ended up wrestling Ryan eventually, right? Like a mess around match.
Yeah, I don't believe it was the same trip. It was a different trip because I brought Merv. I think we were at Clayton Cross's house, and we were just messing around. The kid I went with, he's not a wrestler, so I don't think we filmed anything.
That's got to
Yeah.
be it.
It was just
How
kind of
could
a.
he?
I don't even know if it
'Cause
was
of
a
this.
match. To
Bro,
be honest
best
with you.
thing Josh ever did.
450?
Boom, dude.
That was
You
beautiful.
cannot draw it better than that.
No.
And I think that's probably why he ended up using that in pro.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they actually used that in the WWE video games.
Yeah, no doubt. Josh was mocap.
I was
Yeah.
really surprised that he used that because he was always the shooting star guy. So when I saw him go up there, I'm like, oh, cool. Josh's going to do a shooting star off the top rope finally. And I was like, oh, wow. I didn't expect it. Like, I was probably a little salty at the time, but I mean, it was beautiful.
He
you
nailed
know?
it. Yeah, I feel that. I
Like, it
definitely
wasn't
feel
anything
that.
like fucking asshole. You
Right.
know, it was just like,
Yeah, it was a perfect
okay,
rotation.
wow.
Yep.
Dude, did you know what really threw me off about Florida?
Huh.
This is the first time like someone picked me up from an airport, drove me straight to their house. And like usually you go to Florida, you're staying in a hotel.
Yeah.
He just drove right into his front yard. And I was just like, what's going on here, man? This is normal. He's like, yeah, dude, we park in our front yards all the time. I'm like, that's weird.
It is lawless. Speaking of lawless in Florida, you enjoyed yourself that week.
Yeah,
huh?
we had a good time.
That's it. No more.
Yeah, we had a good time. Actually, in particular, it wasn't the wrestling trip. It was the second trip, which I said we were just going for hangouts. We didn't care about wrestling at that point.
Yeah.
Let's just say we don't remember much about what happened.
When was that you went back down?
It was the same, probably a month or two later.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was one of those things where I called my buddy Merv and I'm like, hey, I got a place to stay in Florida. My mom can get us free plane tickets. You want to go for a weekend? And we left like 2 days later. It was just that quick. And Ryan, at this time, didn't live with his mom anymore. We stayed at his apartment, played some Madden. Merv spilled his whole bottle of dip spit on Ryan's floor.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then it was a wild little weekend.
Yeah, and that introduced quite a few guys that are popular throughout the history of backyard wrestling. Link, GBYWN, whatever, it all kind of blends together after a while. But MX5, Soy Boy, Ryan Storm, Kenny Storm, but he would prefer us call him Ryan Storm because he doesn't like Kenny. And Tiny. And on top of that, we didn't see him in there at all. Was the Chad there? I'm sure he was around.
I don't think.
I don't think
falling out.
The only time I met the Chad was in Pittsburgh. I'm pretty sure.
I think he had a falling out then.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like Florida was kind of the hotbed of backyard wrestling through the last 2 years of the Link dying and GBYWN starting. It was like the last place that people were still going because why would you not want to go to Florida? Right. It's at least a vacation. You might not want to live there, but going there specifically in December just sounds like a great time. So that was the end of us actually wrestling in 2009. We ran through, everybody did all the stuff. We're on episode, what did we say, 9 now?
9, yeah.
And we've been talking about 2009 since episode 3, since the end of episode 3. So this whole time has been just 1 year. We did so much, got so far, and in the end, it didn't even matter. So, Steve.
Yes.
At the end of 2009, how did our wins look? What were our records like?
Fantastic segue.
Thank you.
So at the end of it all, actually, including Ground Zero 1, we're going to go with Rick finishes off with 18 wins. Ed,
Are we doing this in like order? So like, was I number 1?
It just happens to look that way.
Okay.
I actually kind of did this on who I'm going to probably be updating more.
Is this win and loss or just wins?
Just wins.
Just wins.
Okay.
Yeah,
we described it on the previous podcast. You'll be able to take a look at it and see
I'd like
what
to
we're
see
getting
the
at.
percentages.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I figured like I kind of updated this on like, okay, so I could probably put Quinn towards the bottom because I'm not going to have to keep going back to him and stuff like that. So Rick with 18 wins, Ed 15, tied with me 15, JP with 9,
That ain't
Josh
bad.
with
Solid.
11,
Woo!
Dom
Not bad.
3,
Okay.
Kevin 1, Nutter 4, Scott 4, and then all the
Hodgepodge of ones
Get
from
your wins
outside.
up, man.
Snow had 2,
I know.
Caleb 3, et cetera, et cetera. So Rick finishes up with the most.
Yes, 18 wins at the end of 2009 and one more win at the end of 2009 because I got an award, which we will be talking about here in a minute. But before we get into awards and stuff, I would like to take a look at SWC 2009. So this is a music video that I made to kind of show off what we had accomplished over the course of the year. And now that we made it to this point, might as well show it as a recap of everything that we've talked about so far,
That's
right?
really cool. Good idea there.
We got the champ jumping off roof, Steve jumping off the barn. It's really unfortunate that we can't play music because of YouTube rules, but this video is just a hell of a good time.
Can we find this video on a YouTube of some capacity?
Yeah, on the SWC Backyard Wrestling channel. You know what? I'll link it in the description.
There
even.
you go.
Go take a peek at that. But yeah, like this is just gonna run through for about 5 minutes of all the crazy shit that we did throughout the course of the year, and it'll all be familiar to all of us.
And you made this back then? Like you had the wherewithal to be like, all right, time to cap that off?
No doubt about it. Yeah, it took me about a month.
Wow. I mean, shit, you had a lot of footage to go through.
Yeah, absolutely. And the worst thing that I remember about making this video is as soon as I was done with it, I was like, I finally get to free up all this space on my computer.
Oh, no.
Delete all the full matches. Delete.
What you would give to have those now.
Bro, that one
Like
day.
great transition.
That was
Great
phenomenal.
transition. This is probably tooting our own horn, but watching this video, and not just us in particular, but the core group that we wrestled with, Revival, I guess you would say, it truly, we were talented.
Yeah.
Like, this is good stuff.
We did some fucking shit. And not only that, but like, so I'm going to talk about it more whenever we get into next year. This was not the Lightning. This season was the Thunder. Like 2009 was like what's about to happen. You know, everything was setting up for the lightning strike, and this was like all just the.
Yeah, this is the electricity, the static electricity you can see and feel before the lightning strike. I get what you're saying. You confused me there for a second because thunder comes after lightning. And
Does
I was
it?
Like, what? Yeah. Yeah, thunder is the sound
Jesus,
of the lightning
WCW
explosion.
Thunder is what I meant. We were terrible. You're misinterpreting me.
Is that Jimmy P?
Yeah, that was Jimmy P. Ugh.
There it is. The flip.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right into the
shit.
can.
That was good. Good
Couple
transition.
Josh SSPs there.
Ugh.
Oh, good. The good thing was did that hurt? Did the tire hurt?
Yeah, probably. I'll say yes for the content. That was so
That
cool.
was
'cause
BYS3.
You were establishing
That is one of the scariest clips.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Because, like Steve was going to say, you were establishing that back of the head lariat thing that you did for like 2 or 3 super shows in a row, and then Brandon hit that knee reversal.
Very cool.
It's just, there's so much in here. I don't like to watch this.
Don't watch it. Don't watch
I
it.
can't figure out why.
Okay. Little Twisted Outcast with Ed. SWC's color was blue. That's why everything's always blue.
That's all right. I thought it was because it was getting cold now. You'd made this in December.
Oh, big
I
power
will
bomb.
never take that again the rest of my life. I felt that for
Oh
a
yeah,
week.
we just talked about that.
But
The Josh Mooney.
And he sells the leg.
Yep.
He almost sold the wrong leg, huh?
The Folk 50.
Probably hurt both.
Yeah, honestly. Oh, that's so
good.
dope.
So good.
All this was like, not only was it a year, it was like 6 months.
I
it was
know,
like
that's
7
the
months.
craziest thing.
It felt like it was 5 years,
Right.
But it really wasn't. It's just crazy.
7 months.
That's the move I don't know how to do.
We'll talk about it. There was the DC
Yeah, I
Doomstick
saw
rig
him.
jump
Oh.
around. Cars in the Woods. We just saw this match.
Yep. Ugh.
Boom skis. Well, JP points it out. JP does a little moonsault DS.
It's just so wild.
DC Doom hit that, and Steve went, Tiger! And Ed has mimicked it for the last 15 years.
That was a straight up linebacker
Yeah.
that hit
That was
Justin.
awesome.
Justin,
There's like
yeah.
a 250-pound weight difference there. I just can't get over that. Just looking at the visual change and how much bigger. Just BYS2 compared to 1. Just
Yep.
like.
Somebody make the rewind noise.
And then as we talked about it with BYS2 capping off that run of super shows and starting the new one, Dominic said previously that he thought BYS2 looked unpolished, but it was a clear upgrade over BYS1, but it looked like it was still more ECW than WWE. And BYS3, we kind of flipped that on its head and just went clean as shit. Like BYS3 was all about the arm drags
Yeah.
and the cool
Oh, you mean
chill
the wrestling?
reverse. Yeah, like so it was a little soft reset of how
Yeah.
we went about doing things, you know?
Yeah, it was almost like there's no longer a question of can we do this. It's we're gonna do it,
Yeah.
and now we can really focus on why we're doing it.
And like it probably is better that was a smaller show. So that was SWC 2009, boys. Cheers to us, dude. We had the hell of a fucking year in 2009.
Let's do it again.
I
Let's
sure
go.
did. 3 wins. That's a hat
Ryan,
trick.
can I stay at your house?
So I actually have something cool set up here that I did before you guys came into the room. I have the Wayback Machine loaded up.
No way.
And on here, I have the original topic thread for the SWC 2009
what
music
a
video.
goddamn eyesore. of
Yeah.
the-
Oh my God, it hurts. I think at one point in time there was a black
Yeah.
background behind the text, but I just don't think
They
that
could
Wayback
keep-
Machine
yeah, I don't think they
can.
can,
Yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible.
I didn't know that you could still access the things.
So you have to have your direct links and stuff. And so here we go. Lucky enough for me that this so happened to be filmed today. Yesterday was the anniversary of that music video being made.
Wow.
I posted it on Facebook and I had the direct link to the GBYWN. So I was able to insert it into the Wayback Machine and get us to here.
That's wild.
That's incredible. Well
Yeah.
done, Rick.
Right. I went hard.
Does that work with MySpace?
I don't know. I've never tried.
Oh, we're about to find.
We're gonna see some embarrassing pictures.
Yeah.
Hey.
Only I asked just because MySpace deleted all of the content
Right,
that one
right.
time, so just curious.
So a lot of the conversation that goes on here is about maybe the size of the video or whatnot. There's some little things here and there because at this time we weren't uploading to YouTube. Everything I did
Right,
was
everything
mainly on
was secret.
SenseSpace.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons why our YouTube channel never hit like some other YouTube channels
Watch
did.
what you put on there.
I know that there's stuff on here that people can't see, so it won't be seen.
Yeah.
But
I can't read it, but
Yeah,
I
I
can
can't
imagine.
even make it out.
I'm not sure who that. I'm
I
not
can
sure
pick
who
up what
that
you're putting
was,
down.
but-
right. So we got Lee Andrews here saying that it's my best video to date, which was nice to see, especially from someone that I held in such high regard as an editor. You know, it's always nice when other editors get on there. Twisted Outcast was saying some cool stuff that I really enjoyed reading. This is going to surprise nobody, but the Champ JP eventually gets on here.
I cannot believe you can actually go to the next page.
Oh, dude, I
is
did all the
incredible.
stuff.
I thought that it only like essentially takes like a screenshot of whatever it perceives to be archived.
You can interact with it.
That's
the more that it gets interactive with, the more chances there were of there being archived versions of
Wow.
it. So like a lot of people were looking at this video, so we have, or this thread, I should say.
Okay, I get
so
what you're
we
saying.
have about 3 different snapshots of this thread from throughout.
This is time travel.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes, we're
This is
doing it.
fascinating. Well, it's kind of like reading a journal that
What
you
did I do?
lost.
True.
You know, like
What did I do?
now, if we could interact with ourselves back then I would say that's time travel, and I'm working on that. I haven't.
All right,
I still need to buy a couple
Dom,
things.
get your fucking internet better, brother.
Sorry.
No, hey, we're dealing with 2009.
That is true.
We
internet.
have to literally go back in time and get this information.
This is how it was.
There's Fokelin. Loved it. Boom.
Bruh.
Hack Edgerman. Is this something bad? Mad props. I only imagine how hard that was to make. The last effect gave me a headache.
Sick as fuck.
I like how he left the K off the sick for you.
He has to do it. I think at this time I might have had some type of mod stuff. It says Big Brother Rick,
Yeah,
so
I
I'm
was
guessing
looking
I
at
had
that.
some
I
type
had
of
that
mod.
as well, and so does Doom.
Yeah.
Big Brother. What are the?
It was Cam's thing, like he called people big bros if they were mods or whatever. Downloading stuff. Brody. There's
no.
Brody loving it.
Dude, I love Brody.
Yeah.
Is that Jersey Shore?
Yeah, but that's just a signature.
Is that Snooki getting punched in the face?
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
Got some
That's such a Ryan Brody thing. I love that. I love Ryan Brody in general. He's a great dude.
Oh, I agree with that as well. Yeah, great dude, great hair.
Horrible choice in
Hockey teams. Yeah, just like most of our friends, dude. It's terrible. Nobody understands.
Is he at least from where he roots for?
Yeah, Rangers. Yeah.
Okay. That's always like a little bit okay.
B Snow's in here loving it. Of course he was. He was in like 13 clips throughout the video. But I'm specifically looking for the JP interaction because I find it very on par and very okay. Well, that's something. Let's pause anyway. Okay.
Break time.
Yep. But I mean,
Okay.
his comment was really nice. Worth the wait, all that stuff, flow ride, all the things. But
Yeah, are there any? Okay, so pick up. Okay,
Yeah.
and action.
I had to. We get to do edits. I had to.
No, that was good. That was good.
Sometimes I laugh hard.
That could be a segment.
I just said that to him. I said that's the commercial.
and we're back, Yardians again. Unintended little break there, but we're back to talk about some of this Wayback Machine conversation.
I wasn't a part of this, so I'm really excited.
Yeah, you should be. It was good. I'm just looking to run into it here, and as soon as I do, we will skip ahead on podcast time until we get to it.
Well, okay, this is fun foreshadowing. I'm sure you don't remember. What do
this
you,
is gonna be a surprise
What
to
do
you
you
as well,
think
yeah.
you said?
I don't know, but it's probably disrespectful. I'm excited. I genuinely
I'm
am.
going to go out on a limb and say that it's warranted disrespect.
I was Team JP. I was Team JP.
Dude, I
on
wish
this.
I had a brain to remember things.
I think I was Team JP too. I had
Knowing what I know now.
January of 2010.
Steve
isn't
is
good.
Team Siege.
This isn't good.
Is Siege short for CJ?
yeah.
Thank,
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
God.
wow.
I would have.
Dude, you should have put in when JP kicked me. Indy kicked me. Who is that?
Can you
Yeah,
highlight?
cross.
Can you highlight the text
Yes.
so that can like make it?
So-
yeah, that's a little bit easier.
So this is Rad Hazard giving us some love. And then Steve says 2010 will top 2009. I will accept nothing less. Let's see if Steve had to accept anything less coming
Boom.
on episode
Was he
10
right?
and beyond.
We'll talk about
I'll
it.
put my hat on the line. If you know. What song did you use for that?
Bullet for My Valentine, Hearts Burst Into Fire.
Oh, that's the song that goes dun 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 dun, hearts burst into fire.
I hope not.
Is that not?
I hope
That
it
was
didn't
Tears
sound
Don't
like that.
Fall.
Hold on.
Ed, and fuck Chewy for stealing my spot, and fuck Steve for not telling him no on doing the same spot again like a day later. I edited it really cool though, Ed.
Yeah.
Shut your bitch ass mouth. People saying it's good over and over. Is that a siege? Is this finally a siege?
This is Siege right here.
Yep. This video seems to have nothing but positive feedback, so I'm wondering how this video is different from the Best of Backyard Wrestling video that was posted a little while ago that everybody hated on.
Talent.
I'm just trying to figure out why the other video got so many negative replies.
No talent.
The similarities I see are that both videos have quite a few guys that don't have gear, so it can't be that reason. And there's a lot of moves done outside the ring in both videos.
Talent.
And there are weapons used in both videos, although considerably less in the SWC one.
There you go.
But the other videos have some clips with fire and light tubes, and is it because of that? Even the spots themselves, I thought a few were really unsafe in this video, while the other video, there were hardly any. Don't get me wrong, I like both videos, and I think you guys are doing a good job. I'm just really curious to why some people hated the other video, but like this one. I'd really like to hear some people's thoughts on this.
Talent.
I can see how that can be perceived as controversial and confrontational, but that also, in hindsight, that does look like genuine curiosity.
He did. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna say like it's whiny, but he framed it in a way that is like
Genuinely
yeah,
wondering,
I
hey,
want to know. I want to know.
It
you
definitely reeks of like, why don't you like me?
Yeah.
But at the same time, asking someone why you don't like them and then figuring out the answer and then maybe,
right.
improving.
Did he make that video?
Not sure.
That's the only thing, because
So here is JP's reply to this.
Dude, I got a lot of dollars.
Yeah, you do, of course. JP Echo Champ. I watched about a minute and a half of that video. From what I could tell, what's that?
They base
wrestling on insane spots, light tubes and fire, and so on. That type of BYW people look down on backyard wrestling, and why pro feds look down on backyard wrestlers. Our video is all about wrestling, as it should be, given a few weapons here and there. Wrestling does not have to have light tubes, fire, barbed wire for people to enjoy it. And the editing wasn't that good, in my
Super
opinion.
respectful.
Yeah,
Right.
that wasn't that
Super
controversial.
respectful answer.
Right. Exactly. That's why I was kind of hyping it up. Like, what do you think JP's
Yeah,
about to say?
right.
Right?
You
Go
know what's
me,
funny?
man.
In 2009, I agree with what JP says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And right now, today, I'm like only half in agreement with it because I'm like, I love all that other shit.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's so weird how.
Now, that's nostalgic
yeah.
for you.
And that perception's almost gone.
Right.
Like, that was really living in it. That is such a. That's just like. That's actually. I thought this was going to be fuck you. But
Right.
it was actually like good banter.
And if it was that, I wouldn't be showing it, right? Like, there's
Did you
gotta-
know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I brought us here. I looked.
You didn't
want
want to be surprised.
Right. I couldn't be surprised, or else we wouldn't know to talk about it.
That's true. That's true.
So
I don't
actually,
produce this
the
show.
most sober comment in reply to both of these guys, because now it does kind of get into a little bit of a fuck you
Back and forth, yeah.
But somebody kind of chimes in here and has like a very real explanation of what's going on, and it's fun to read, but we're never going to get to.
Maybe a multiple choice question. Give us 4 potential names and we have to guess who it is.
Who would you think it is? Someone jumped in here and said some real ass shit.
Trey.
Somebody jumped in and said real ass shit that was it meaningful? Like coming from them. Was it like a somebody that you wouldn't expect that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Josh.
Dawn. Alex.
Trey, Josh, Don,
Justin.
Alex. Okay, all out. Okay.
Is it one of us?
Maybe a
Oh.
location.
Northeast.
Northeast.
New era.
New era. I'm out. I don't know who this is.
Ian
Do I?
Finnegan.
Ian Finnegan.
Oh, dude, I hated him.
Wait a minute. Does that reference the last episode?
Yes, it does.
You gotta watch this. They talk a lot of shit on you.
It's loaded.
I didn't want to put that out there. That like, hey, these two may have had issues if JP wasn't aware that there were issues.
Yeah.
But if JP's willing to say there were issues, then
JP speaks the truth from B Snow. B Snow is agreeing on Team JP there. More positive comments to the video, which is good to see. Siege, we cannot go through all this.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's ridiculous.
But this is essentially where it goes to, like, he is adamant that his video was as good, if not better, or whatever. That
Where's
the
your
SWC
podcast,
one ended up
Siege?
being.
Come on.
Matt Nix, SWC, overrated, to be honest, with a smiley face and a heart. This is like JP breaking down quote from quote, like, you said this happened. You said this happened. You said this happened. Like,
Wow.
JP's really...
Yeah,
JP was about that for him. Like,
I want to.
Yeah, I was definitely a keyboard warrior.
Can you send this to me? Because I want to, be
Sure.
able to read this.
Yeah, I do too, honestly.
So here's some Josh stuff. Death matches are brawls where wrestling matches are wrestling matches. I don't believe that they should be classified together because the art behind each of them are very different from one another. Professionals look down on backyard wrestling because of both the use of unsafeness and weapons. A lot of professionals have the idea that backyard wrestlers are only concerned with making the move they're performing themselves overall look better than the person that they're wrestling, which in my opinion is true for an awful lot of our beloved backyard wrestlers. While reviewing the SWC 2009 highlight video, I realized that most of the moves that were performed unsafely were done by those who didn't necessarily have a great idea of what they were doing. I'm not here to jerk names, but Lil Ryda and Quinn don't have a great idea of what they're doing in a wrestling match. Don't get me wrong, I know I have seen good things from both of them, but they both need a lot of work. And of course, they're not the only ones that perform unsafely all the time. All of the bigger names in the SWC have their moments where they are unsafe, myself included, but only whenever I kicked Rick in the throat, LOL. But overall, everybody is safe, and I feel completely comfortable in a match with virtually everybody, and that really says something, at least coming from me, considering before I came to SWC, I was used to working strictly with professionals. Death matches can be entertaining, but really only two idiots bashing each other over the head repeatedly with sharp, solid objects they can find. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of them, and,
Really says a lot that he was willing to hit me so many times.
I
even
know,
though I
right?
like it.
Wasn't a fan of it, but like if
He
you
was
got a
willing
chance to
to.
swing one on you,
Appreciate
he was
you,
gonna do it.
buddy. I have a really funny conversation I had with Josh on Facebook. So I told him that I wanted to wrestle again. This was in like 2013. So I must have been like, just like coming back from school. I'm like, oh, I want to come back and wrestle.
Yeah.
This is the conversation. So Josh, who you gonna wrestle? I don't know, whoever wants to. I also want to get hit with a stop sign. Josh's response, I could do that for you. And I say, I don't want to get you in trouble because I know he's a professional wrestler. And this is his response. Absolutely. This is why he's a comedian. Just in our personal lives, ... I could hit you with a stop sign. So basically, he's like, no, not in a match. I
just
could
for
hit you.
Yeah.
So Ian Finnegan chimes in here after all this back and forth between JP and Siege, and his comment is as follows. Now I'm totally neutral, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell Siege to end it now because as little as JP likes to be told it, he gets butthurt when people talk bad about SWC. He didn't say it was bad. He liked it. He wants to know why people liked it and why people didn't like the other one. And my opinion is that SWC gets their diss sucked by a large portion of this website. And honestly, I can see why. They have a bunch of guys that travel often, make friends with a lot of people and improve every match, which is cool. But I don't think it's better than the other people. Deathmatch wrestlers like what they like for a reason. It's an art form, same as yours. They can use weapons. Death matches often have psychology and creative spots, but it used to give backyard wrestling a terrible name, and people nowadays hate it, including me. That doesn't give me the right to say it's wrong because everybody love everybody. And that is very sober and chill for me and Finnegan because I believe exactly what he's saying is true. In 2009, we were borderline overrated. As much as we said we did good things, we got out there. We were like...
We worked. We did it.
Right. We were the most active posters on GBYWN. So in exchange for that, people returned the posting whenever we posted a show. If we posted a Ground Zero, most of the time it was the most talked about thing of that specific week. We had 3-4 pages of replies where most other feds were lucky to get 2-3-4 replies total.
Right.
So SWC, while we might have been overrated, it was because of all the work we put in and the friendships we made and how we got better every single show, exactly like Ian said.
How can you say you're overrated at that point if you are being judged by your peers? If the peers are judging you, then how can you be overrated?
Because there is a silent majority of people like the people that spoke the most were Revival guys, Matt Nix, B Snow, us. So that made us look bigger than maybe some of the new era guys who didn't post as much.
It's
So
it's like voting for yourself.
Borderline, yes. Yeah, exactly. And with that, JP turns around and he essentially says, you know what? I agree with everything you said. Like JP's like, I agree with Ian. I was going to say the same thing about us getting our dick sucked. And yeah, the guy asked my opinion and I gave him it. And that's where we're at. So that was the end of that. And that was everybody really liked the video. And JP had a little online tussle with Siege. And Ian Finnegan jumped in to be like, everybody shut up. It's backyard wrestling. Have fun. Love each other. And that's pretty much all I wanted to look at on here.
That's pretty much par for the course for the GBYWN.
Yeah. If you want to know what forum life was like at all, this was a really good look into it. This is an average thread of how it would go. Just so happens that this was a bigger video, end of the year 2009.
The most typical Josh response. This dude, up. He says whatever he says, and I say, word. And Josh says, letter.
I still disagree saying that we were overrated, regardless of the fact that we were affiliated. Like, they weren't us, right? Like, people aren't saying Revival is overrated.
Right.
They're saying specifically SWC.
Yeah, like here's Chalice saying the same thing.
Right. So if there's that many people that are friends with us that are putting us over, to me, that seems like we've earned that because they aren't really affiliated with us as far as our core base product is. They are invested. And isn't that the point of putting out content? To get people invested.
Yes.
It's not our fault if another community or if there is that silent majority or minority, whatever, if they're not getting their attention, they need to step up. It's not our responsibility to step down.
I agree.
You see the standard that's being set. You see what is expected. Now you have to work hard. So I can't, and like, I'm not saying that to like pat ourselves on the back, but that just seems so oxymoronic. Like, that's the point, to get an audience, to get to put out content, to get people entertained in wrestling, regardless if it's backyard or pro. And we were doing everything right, you know?
Yes.
Now, if it was just us constantly blowing smoke up our asses, if everyone in this room only spamming the SWC threads, yes, 100%. Because I know from message boards, that would bump it up to the top. And that wouldn't be a good look if we just kept inflating our own posts.
Absolutely.
For the sake of the algorithm. 100%, I would say, that's not cool.
Yeah.
But the fact is, we put in the work, we put on shows, we traveled across city lines, across state lines. You flew to Florida, I went to Indiana.
Yep.
You know, we went all over. That's literally the point of establishing a brand based on content.
Yep.
Networking.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And on top of that, like, so even his comment reply here says, most of the GBYWN regulars are friends, and you could see why everybody thinks everything is awesome. That being said, I still do enjoy most of your videos. And it's like, well, most of the GBYWN regulars are friends, and that's who we're marketing our content for. So in that case, like, you might think that, well, you know, Folkland's not Anarchy Andy, and Sick Rick isn't Scott Henson, and JP isn't fucking Soy Boy, but it's like, well, that doesn't matter. Like, we're not judging ourselves based off of them. We're doing what we're doing right now in our current time period with what we are given, and what we are given is getting views and replies and other people wanting to wrestle with us and coming to our shows and wanting us to go to their shows. So at the end of the day, I don't see how we were overrated, but a couple people had that, you know,
I think it's just
perception.
sour grapes, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, like, Siege lives in Australia. So, I'm sorry, Siege. I have no incentive to check out your stuff. I'm not emotionally invested, right?
I felt the same way because I knew I was never going to go there, so I never went out of my way to watch their stuff.
But I mean, even like just taking, you know, the backyard wrestling out of the aspect and, you know, just thinking about pro, like I mean, okay, let's dial it back to kind of like what Shadow was saying. Like, yeah, I'm more invested in watching my friends' matches because I'm emotionally invested, and the art of wrestling is the suspense of it all, right?
Yep.
I can't watch media of like WWE or AEW that has happened already. Let's say hypothetically, let's go to Jericho versus Omega. Like how like finally that match was so good, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna set my phone down. I'm gonna watch it. But there was such a disconnect because it's happened already, and the suspense was gone. Yep. I knew nobody got hurt, and it's not like I'm sitting there watching, like, oh, he can get hurt, but it's just like if something catastrophic happened, I would have, heard about it. And then, like if you don't have that connection of some capacity, you're not going to be as entertained. And that's the point of wrestling, is to entertain to your audience.
Absolutely. And we did that to an extent where at the end of the year, GBYWN gave out awards to forum community members. And I can't be positive exactly who was in charge of these awards. I'm going to say it probably ran through Cam and Rad Hazard both to some extent. We had nothing to do with it. I did a little something in future years, but for at least 2009, I have no idea how they came about. It was just an end of the year thing where it's like best mat wrestler of the year and best high flyer and all this jazz and mumbo jumbo. So I figured the awards that were taken home by us or our friends, I would write down and share them with you guys, and we'll see what in the moment people thought about 2009 Backyard Wrestling. We'll start it off first and foremost with the Fed of the Year in Backyard Wrestling was Suicidal Wrestling Clash SWC, ya boys.
I would agree with that 100%.
I don't, definitely.
I mean, granted, that's hard to say because I'm not watching anything else that's putting out there, but like
they're probably overrated.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, like clearly there's proof in the pudding that people are traveling and want to, be affiliated with us.
Yes.
Yeah,
no
kind
doubt.
of like you said, that's the point.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the want to be the best of the feds, but, like, all of ours in the inland, like, what is it, like, where
Midwest.
we are. Yeah, like, you're not on an island. You're not traveling over water. Like,
right.
The areas where you could drive to each other, those people all hung out. You know?
Right. And also, like, if anything, if they were, like, that, like, removed from what we were doing, all the more reason for you to be affiliated with us. Get the rub.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, some people were trying to get the rub by being contrarians. Like that might have been their thing. Like, I have a moment to stick out here. If I just sit here and say cool video, nobody's going to read my comment. But if I challenge what they're saying and force people to tell me why my video sucks, I'm still getting them hits, right?
All right, but continue.
So we have overall wrestler of the year. This one is going to shock the room. Any guesses?
Hegeman.
Yeah, that would be the right answer.
Steve.
You.
FX.
Wow.
So here's the thing. FX went fucking everywhere in 2009. He went to Vegas, Indiana, Ohio, Pittsburgh, Chicago, New Jersey. He was at every show in 2009. So plus the fact that he was affiliated with Rad Hazard in ways of promos and whatever they were doing a storyline, I'm sure Rad Hazard, if he had anything to do with this awards, which I mean, you could tell us, Dan, I'm sure that he probably had a word about FX being that dude.
Also, I'm sure we didn't really find our voice until, BYS won, and that was June. That's halfway done with the year.
Correct.
Who knows what FX was doing before that.
Right. From what I saw of it, and this is just personal stuff, Marcus Centavante killed 2009. I might have tossed an award his way. But also, like, there were a lot of people that did a lot of cool stuff, and everybody gets awards for whatever reasons. There was 100 awards that were given out here.
Just had a lot of eyes on him, looks the part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Match of the year 2009, we discussed on the BYS3 episode. It was Folkland versus Lee Andrews.
Disagree with 100%.
We'll see if our Revival guys do, because we'll talk about that here in a minute. Super Show of the year was Global Domination in Chicago, which was the early 2009. It was the first like big GBYWN Midwest, like we're here super show. They had a ring. They had like essentially they were in South Park, basically in Chicago with a pavilion and all types of stuff. Devin Bliss, Twisted Outcast.
They actually had like fans there, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a pretty nice size show.
It's like an indie show.
So that winning that award makes sense, especially because Cam and Matt Nix were homies, and Cam was always trying to prop Matt Nix up.
Nick was a big factor in the GBYWN championships.
Yeah,
I know that. So
no doubt. He was the first one. Yeah. Most popular wrestler of the year.
Hack Edgeman.
Should be again. Close enough though. Beast Snow.
I can see
makes
that.
sense. Everybody loved Brandon. He didn't really. Well,
Up until
almost
yeah.
everybody
Yeah,
loved
not me. I wish I could have loved
Most
him.
popular Fed of the year,
I think.
ICW in Indiana.
Really?
Yes.
Well, then we weren't that overrated then.
Right, and I think the popularity level just was based on the fact that they were getting thousands of YouTube views.
Yep.
So that's probably
Good for
what they
them.
meant by that, and they absolutely killed that.
I'm sorry that Josh and I kind of stunted that growth within our brand at the time.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, definitely.
Like in
I
hindsight.
didn't give a shit. I was happy to upload it, but I feel you. Best return, Lee Andrews, Backyard's Primacy 3.
Okay.
Fastest rising wrestler,
Hack Edgeman.
Sick Rick, the kid with the hot bars.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and whenever I read that, I was like, "You damn right," because like at the start of 2009, I was nothing, and at the end of 2009, Hack Edgeman.
Yeah.
So here's this one's funny. Best stable of 2009,
Dark Star.
Dark Star, and I think that plays off of the FX thing a little bit too with Rad Hazard and Cam and all
Yeah.
that. I think that was more of a fuck CTK rallying cry than it was a vote for Dark Star.
Not to put myself over, but I'll put myself over. I think CTK is definitely better because the fact
CTK
that
I know it was
wasn't-
better, and
it
I was in
wasn't
it.
just a group of like, hey, let's do something. Like there was specifically art behind it, and there was a story behind it.
Don't worry, you'll get this award again soon. And my personal favorite one to see here in 2009, Most Improved Fed. Bethlehem Extreme Wrestling.
Good for them.
And they end up winning the award again in 2010, which we won't talk
spoilers,
about.
yeah.
No, I'm going to talk about this one specifically because BXW was the most improved Fed over like a 5-year period. It's just every year they got better and better and better until there was nowhere else to go. So that all started in 2009, which honestly is not something I remember existing in 2009.
Right, yeah.
Is that
That's Allentown.
BXW, yeah. Mike
I would have
Damage.
thought for sure it was us. Mainly because
How
of
do you
you
get
and
most
we didn't
improved 2
exist.
years in a
Who
row?
cares?
That's
That's true.
that's impressive.
Exactly.
What'd
yeah.
you say,
Impressive.
JP?
Getting most improved 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Because you improved
Yeah,
a lot,
right?
and then even more.
Exactly,
You know what I'm saying?
and then
That's
they did it
impressive.
again. Like
Jeez.
they just kept rolling. And I think, like, yeah, I mean, if you're looking at 2008 NWW Pittsburgh versus 2009 SWC, come on,
It's
Yeah.
not even the same thing.
no.
But
But
that's probably why.
SWC didn't exist in 2008, so technically SWC couldn't
That
improve
makes
any.
sense.
Yeah.
But that was the official GBYWN Awards, and to counterbalance that, I went ahead and sent a ballot out to all the boys, and I asked them all what they thought of 2009 retrospectively, because we've been talking about it this whole time, and I wanted to see what their opinions were. So we had Sick Rick, Mad Dog, we had Folkland, we had the Champ JP, we had X-Cow, Kustos, Mike Wonder, Sean Jovi, Drake Cannon, Devin Bliss, DC Doom, Cody Jacobs, Hack Edgeman, and B Snow all sent us their own ballots here. I hit a couple Chicago dudes too, and they didn't get back to me with it. No big deal. We had plenty of people, plenty of opinions, and enough to at least get a list, an idea of what people thought.
Who
of
from
2009.
Chicago didn't get back to us?
Literally everyone.
Yeah,
Obama.
none of them.
Wow.
Michael Jordan.
Right.
Unreal. None of the Chicago
The
Bears.
Motor City Machine Guns.
So
Jeez.
Because they're from Detroit.
So we did 5 awards for this year, and I had people give me their top 3. The first place got 4 points, second place got 2 points, third place got 1 point. So first place was a little weighted because I felt like if you're giving something first place, it should be. And based on that, everybody answered these questions. So the first one we're going to start out with here is, who was the breakout / most improved wrestler of the year? Do you guys remember your ballots at all?
Yes.
Sick Rick.
I remember mine a little bit. You said Sick Rick. Dominic said Sick Rick, I think. Most improved breakout wrestler of the year. So fifth place was James Nutter and Elliot Ness, tied with 6 points each. I think you dropped Nutter on one of yours.
I specifically how much he shined, how much
Yeah.
he broke
I
out.
put Nutter at number 1.
Yep. So that's the points right there, right? Because you probably put him at number 2.
No, 3.
3?
Oh, no, 2. Oh, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
2. So yeah, so that's all 6 of his points
That
right
makes
there.
sense because I didn't put him on mine. Sorry, Nutter.
Elliot Ness also there. I definitely had him on my list. Obviously, a couple other people did too. I just really enjoyed what he was doing. In fourth place, we have with 9 points, DC Doom. I think he was also on my list. Then here we have the top 3. In third place with 13 points, Hack Edgeman. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it, obviously, all the time. Second place with just 1 more point than Hack Edgeman, 14, coming in is Sick Rick the Kid with the Hot Bars. And in first place,
This is most improved.
Most improved breakout wrestler.
I remember specific. Look at that.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it.
Look at him, bro.
You tried to throw me off.
17 points.
I voted for you.
Thanks,
So
man.
did I.
appreciate
See, I
it.
tried really hard not to vote for us because I figured we were overrated.
I don't even know half of these guys.
So many people that put ballots on showed no shame.
Yeah.
They were just like their own name all the way down the list, and I didn't give a shit. So I just voted whoever. But Dominic and I gave JP an 8-point lead before any of this even
Hell
started.
yeah.
So,
We sure did.
So here we have the most improved breakout wrestler of 2009, the champ JP.
But it's true.
It's true, right?
Because I, at the time, had no idea. But doing the podcast, being a part of it, if I'm looking at any of these people and saying, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were that good," it was him.
Yep.
Because I had no clue.
That's
I mean,
how I
I
felt
knew
too.
you jumped off of shit. I didn't know you did 540s when you jumped off of shit. That's a big difference.
You know, honestly, I think Dom probably should have the most say in this, considering the fact that he wasn't really, involved in.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know, like Dom, what Dom says goes.
It's very true. I am.
Because you've watched this through a fan eyes.
I'm an
You
outsider.
didn't experience a lot of
I
it.
mean, Mad Dog was pretty much like my wrestling career was in its legend career by the time
you
I
were
got
on the
to,
Undertaker schedule.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was done. Mad Dog was a young man, but he moved on to other things. But yeah, I was just there, and I kept my eyes on things, but not in the way that I did now.
Right, yeah,
like
right.
it's like I'm like, wow, this is crazy. But I'm being silly, but I mean it.
Yeah, right. And I absolutely agree too. That's why we voted him where we voted him, and other people saw the same shit because we were only 8 points out of those 17, so
Yeah.
9 other
Yeah.
points had to come from other motherfuckers.
That's true.
So unfortunately, champ, we don't have a trophy for you.
Hey, I don't need one. That was enough for me. That's awesome.
So not only that, but you already know you're the champ.
Yeah, that was very unexpected. That's
Right.
awesome.
soon. There's your trophy.
Thank you.
An empty plastic water bottle. Make sure you recycle that.
How
by the
many
way.
of those probably laid around the Ground Zero area?
No, we cleaned.
Yeah,
we
we
were
did,
good.
we
We
did.
were good about that shit. So here's the next award thing that we have going on. It is the Hangouts show of 2009. Any guesses, or if you want to throw your own ballot out there, what it was?
I guarantee I was there.
I put BYS1, but that's
Okay.
just because what that meant to me.
I'm not going to spoil anything, so go ahead.
I put BYS 3 just because it was the
Mainly Hangouts.
Yeah.
And also, there was a video of something that I forgot about that I'd like to mention right now real quick. Remember when we went to the incline that night?
Yeah.
Us and Lee? Mm-hmm. Was there a guy that was about to fight you, and then we all waited down outside the door for the guy to come down?
Yes,
And then he passed us without doing shit, and you were like, "What you gonna do? I got 6 dudes with me."
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. You just because of Lee.
Because of Lee,
Yeah,
the footage
I
Lee
remember-
sent me, I saw that.
Dude,
I
that's
remember
awesome.
Someone said that at one point we should have just went now, just to scare the fuck out of
Dude, I'd love to watch some of that shit.
We will, yes.
Yeah, fucking pussy.
You gotta get the cool walk on. No, nothing. I got 6 dudes. I ain't scared. I got 6 dudes.
Yeah, so BYS3 was a great time. I concurred with Steve and went with BYS1, and we'll go through the Backyard Wrestling Hangout Show of the Year final tallies here. Tied with 5th place is 8 points for SWC Backyard Supremacy 2 and SWC Backyard Supremacy 3.
Yikes.
8 points each, 5th place.
We suck.
So we're going to jump up to 3rd place with 9 points here. Was ICW This Is Our House.
Okay.
Which one was that?
None of us were there. That was the one that happened before even JAS.
Gotcha.
The Midwest was forming without us.
That's
at
a
that time.
common denominator. More fun, less of us.
Yeah, that
Hence,
we came and fucked
overrated.
everything up with our clicks and our storylines.
Well, the next 2 is about to go a long way to proving that wrong.
Oh, yeah.
2nd place Hangout Show of the Year with 12 points is ICW Midwest Extravaganza.
Ooh, that's interesting considering.
I put it on my list because of the road trip.
Okay.
So I took all encompassing everything, and while the wrestling show definitely did not make my list.
Was that the one where we got chased by that fucking crazy dude?
No.
No, it was the one that we talked about, the
With the
revival
ghost.
one with the fucking
Which one was that?
deja vu and
Yes.
the tree down in the road and all the stuff.
Okay.
And with a commanding first place, 10 points away from anything else, SWC Backyard Supremacy 1.
I was there.
Yeah.
Nice.
And honestly, like, it was my number 1, it was Steve's number 1, it was Dominic's number 2. Dominic's number 1 was JAS 2 because he traveled to a
That
show
makes
for a
sense.
first
That
time.
makes sense.
Oh yeah, I wanted to give perspective.
Yeah, right.
Was BYS 3 when Chewy was there?
No, that was the end of BYS 1.
Yeah.
When Chewy was there?
Yeah.
Oh.
And BYS.
So I might have flipped the two. Because
That's
I
all right.
remember when we were driving Chewy around, we drove into the bus station the wrong way.
Yep,
Yeah,
we were trying to show him.
That's what I was picturing BYS 3 as.
Man, if you fucking watched the product, you were supposed to.
Dude,
you would have known.
I could watch this today and forget tomorrow.
You probably will forget
Yeah.
the stuff that we did watch today.
As unbiased as trying to not to pick our shit, I feel like I got the best feel for the hangouts with everyone being at my house.
Yeah.
Like, that was cool. I didn't know everyone. We clicked. The stress that I dealt with, everything. There's just like the perfect culmination of it all.
And I was the same thing, just I lived at the apartments, so like my side of the story is a little different, but it's the same. Like, I spent 6 months of my life preparing for these 3 days, and was it going to work? Did it work? Meeting all these people, some of them again, but like it was special to me, so I wanted it to get some recognition. Apparently a lot of other people did too.
Appreciate it.
Whose shoulders am I on?
Jim Baker's
Jim
Yeah,
Baker.
the dream.
from KPW.
Seemed like probably a really nice guy.
Couldn't tell you.
Wrestled Lil Ryder.
That was the only time he showed up.
Seems like a nice guy. I don't get on anyone's shoulders.
So
Look at the foreshadowing here. I'm going to kick you in your face.
That should have been the
Give me
hype
about
for
3
BYS
months.
too, yeah.
Next award that we have for Posthumous 2009 Awards, we have the Match of the Year. So this one actually was really close because a lot of people had a lot of different answers. A match is a lot more perspective based than a Wrestler of the Year. Like, you could clearly see the people that are doing good over and over again, but matches can make people feel a different way just because of what side of the base they were sitting on that day. Or
You
if
had
they
to
were,
be there.
Exactly.
Art is subjective.
So with that in mind, I would like to give this one a little bit of an extended top list because a lot more stuff got voted on.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah.
So just outside the top 5, we have AJ Todd versus Katonic BYS2 with 6 points.
Wow, that
Great
was my
match.
number one.
Yeah. So somebody else gave it 2, or I think 2 other people gave it 1 point.
Okay.
Also, outside of the top 5 with 8 points, we have Hack Edgeman versus Devin Bliss from Backyard Supremacy 2. Also a really good match, like all these are going to be. We love all the people.
That was in my list.
That was my second vote.
Yep.
I think I know what the next one's gonna be.
So here we're going to start at 5th place. 5th place we have, with 10 points, Folkland versus Lee Andrews, Backyard Supremacy 3.
I'll take the first loser.
And yeah, right. And GBYWN voted it as
Match of the year.
match of the year.
Wow.
And our group of people
No,
said it was still good. but
GBYWN did not vote it.
Rad Hazard and
Hazard
Cam.
Cam.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I get what you're saying. Like,
Yeah.
it still held up to some capacity.
Exactly. Right. 4th place, we have with 13 points, Folkland versus Sick Rick, Backyard Supremacy 2.
That's the one where you kicked your head in?
Yes.
The one where I stomped his head in.
Yeah.
So for
Sick.
some perspective, I put that on the top of my list because
That's fair.
it was a big one for
It
me.
was on my list.
Yeah. What are we at? 3rd place. Yes. 3rd place with 14 points, beating that out by just 1 point. Hack Edgeman versus Sick Rick, Backyard Supremacy 3.
Wow.
So,
No idea what number one is going to be. This is good. This is suspenseful.
right. So, number 2 and number 1 were separated by 1 point. It was 17 points versus 16 points.
Wow.
So, in 2nd place with 16 points, we have B Snow versus Chris Castle, Just Another Super Show 2.
That one was fun.
Yeah, and pretty much all the top Turtle guys put it at number 1, and I had it on my list, so it was going to get his points.
I remember it being good. I just don't happen to remember it that well.
So number 1 with a bullet, just 1 point more than that one with 17 points. We have
B Snow.
Good
versus Twisted
shit.
Outcast from Backyard Supremacy 2.
Did you notice how when it got to 5th, like two guys repeat, and then the guy
Yeah,
that got
that's
connected
fascinating.
repeated, then the guy that got connected
Yeah,
repeated. All-
fascinating. Yeah, Snow at the top two.
this was, I think this was my favorite match.
This was your one.
Yeah.
It was B Snow's one. It was Devin Bliss's one. And yeah, just good stuff all around.
Yeah, I don't even think I saw this in person.
You didn't.
And
No.
just watching it as a music video and watching every other music video, this is one of those matches where I'm like, man, I kind of wish I saw that one.
Yeah.
You know?
It was really good because one of the things is like there wasn't any drama going into it. It was just pure wrestling.
Yeah.
Like even Chris Castle and Snow had hype of like this match is 2 years in the making.
Yep.
It's CTK versus Darkstar. This is just pure athleticism.
Seemed to be what those two did well, was
Yeah.
they just had good matches. So go figure, you put them in a match together, they're going to just...
Yep.
Tear
And in
it
the
down.
middle of it, me and Steve will chant, we can't top this because we couldn't. Obviously,
yeah, right.
nobody
Yeah, clearly
could in
it was match of
2009.
the year 2009.
So I would like to also point out that our awards here are only the revival shows. So like as much other stuff has happened all over the country, we don't have any input on Northeast stuff or Florida stuff or whatever. Like, I mean, you guys were involved in it, but it was just what revival guys did this year. Just so nobody that's in the Northeast tells me that
That's what the
Matt
podcast is.
DeMorris and yeah, right.
This is our podcast.
Right.
We're reflecting. We're reflecting on our podcast's work.
Yeah, you know how many
Exactly.
awards I got? None. You know how I feel about it? Really bad.
Well, there is another award that you
I'll
might
tell you what,
very well
category?
win here.
I got one,
No,
and I
well,
feel
there's two-
really good about it.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, well deserved.
So we have 2 awards left, and this one Dominic's the front runner for. We have the wrestler of the year in 2009.
Front runner for sure.
No, front runner of losers.
So sitting in 5th place, tied with 7 points each, is Chris Castle and Twisted Outcast, the 2 guys that just had Beast Snow's 2 matches of the year.
So that really shows how good Snow is.
Yes.
Yeah.
If the 2 people that brought the best out of him were essentially
nothing wrong with 5th and 6th best wrestler
here's what
of
I'm
the
saying.
year.
Obviously, this is the best of the best, right?
Right.
So regardless, just making this list is an accomplishment. But like the lower tier of the best were involved. That says tremendous. How good Snow
Yeah.
is.
Absolutely.
I'm now glad that I know that I got to wrestle him. No
Yeah. You're fucking welcome.
And coming in at 4th place with 13 points, we have Sick Rick the Kid with the Hot Bars.
Let's go.
It's nice whenever you have a lot of friends that vote on this stuff.
And you personally message them and hold a gun to their head.
Yeah. No
what is
doubt
the
about
subject again? Best wrestler?
Best
it. Best wrestler of the
Okay.
year.
Yeah.
Just wrestler of the year.
Yeah. 1 point ahead of Sick Rick the Kid with the Hot Bars with 14 points at 3rd place. We have Fokelin. There
go.
he is.
Let's
Big number
go.
3. And you know what? I completely agree with this top 3, and I agree with the order of it. We all can guess who the top 2 are, right? At this point, the 2
Heck.
people that haven't been named yet.
Eddie and
Hack
Snow.
Edgeman.
They were separated by 1 point.
Wow.
Snow first.
B Snow was the last person
To vote.
to fill in his ballot.
Wow.
So what he did in his ballot directly caused this outcome.
Wow. Came down to that. Let's see. Who is it?
In first place
Drum
with
roll.
24 points.
All right.
It had to be, right?
Fuck
Gotta be.
XXX.
So,
Gotta be, man.
So B Snow voted himself number 1, which gave him a nice lead over Ed, and then he immediately voted Ed number 2, which let
jeez.
Ed beat him by 1 point.
So had he voted Ed for 3,
3rd, he would have tied.
Wow.
Right, yeah.
Bet he wants a recount.
So here we have Wrestler of the Year 2009, 2010, 2011, 2008, 2007, 2004, 172 BC, Hack Edgeman.
And he's not even here to appreciate it.
And you know what? He won't even watch this because he doesn't like looking at himself in 4K. But he knows that we all love him and we all think he's the shit. And, same goes for Brandon. 23 to 24 is pretty fucking close. Could have went either way. And, Brandon was basically the one who decided to put Ed at this position.
So who did Ed vote for?
Ed. Brandon voted for Brandon. And I think Ed put Brandon at 2. So it is what it is what it is.
Hell yeah.
Hello people. Rick got a little too excited and forgot to discuss the Show of the Year award, but I got Yinz back. Tied for 5th place, with 10 points each is Backyard Supremacy 3 inches and This Is Our House. In 3rd place, with 13 points is Global Domination. 2nd place, with 21 points is Just Another Super Show 2. And the Best Wrestling Show of 2009 award goes to Backyard Supremacy 2, with 30 points. Thank you for voting, and we're sorry Rick is bad at his job. Back to the show.
So those are our year-end awards. Hack Edgerman Wrestler of the Year. Best Match of the Year, Twisted Outcast versus Beast Snow, BYS 2. Best Hangout Show, Backyard Supremacy 1. Most Improved Breakout Wrestler of the Year, the champ JP. You better recognize. Word up to Beast Snow and those Ohio guys.
Oh, NFX.
So that's what all of our friends thought, and that's what we thought regarding 2009. And we have finally made it to the end of the year. Any closing thoughts? Anything from anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I do actually.
I would like to hear it, actually.
So something we have not got to talk about on this podcast that I've wanted to talk about since probably episode 2 or 3.
Sure.
Was the bass. But now that I know that everything happened in 2009, I feel this is very relevant. So this is just a little fun story. I don't know how many of you guys remember this, but whenever you guys were getting the supplies to build the base, I was asked to purchase some wood.
Yep, I remember this. I'm surprised we didn't. Yeah.
This was. I was so excited about this. It was a great song, but we can't play it. But anyways, I ended up telling the boys, no, I'm not going to buy you this wood. And it was because I felt some type of way about the tape situation.
Understandable.
Now, what I did do in return for them was we wrote a rap song. It's really bad. It's called Just a Guy. Do you know the lyrics?
Can't you see?
JP, Steve, and Josh are so cool. I like it when they're swimming in my pool. Couldn't buy them wood, but I can still supply.
Seeing that it's 8 a.m.
And I'm chilling in my ride.
That's not it.
I was so close.
Couldn't buy them wood, but I can still supply. Seeing that it's 8 a.m. and I'm just a guy. So, yeah, wrote him a song about morning boners.
Morning boners.
To make up for the fact that I was unwilling to pay for the bass.
Love it.
Yeah. And do you remember your verse?
No, I probably don't want to know.
It's good.
And you know what else was good? 2010. We had a lot of stuff planned, and we didn't know what 2010 was going to be, but we had some pretty damn good ideas, and we knew that Backyard Supremacy 4 was on the horizon. It was something we were going to do. That was planned going into January, and because of that, B Snow decided to sneak in Just Another Super Show 4 in January. The coldest fucking weekend of my entire life. And now that we're done with 2009, let's just kick off 2010 for episode 10. How about it, guys?
Wow.
That
Did you
works
play
for
on that?
me.
On the way out of here, though, I have a question for JP.
Yeah.
How much poop do you think you've eaten in your life? Like some, right?
Considering I'm a plumber,
Right. Like some.
I would say it equates to over 2 full poops.
Oh my God.
Man. I did not expect it to be that much.
Yeah.
You need to go on a diet.
It's a long time of poop. It's a lot of poop, man.
Hopefully next time that you watch the Backyardi'Yinz on Golden Triangle Media, you think about how much poop you've eaten in your life. CTK folk went out.